Okay, let's just jump straight into it. You know who we are, you know what we do. Let's talk about the Little Mermaid 2023 movie review. We normally start with story, then we talk about characters and animation and music, but I think we should start with characters today for a very important reason, because whatever your thoughts are about this movie after you see it, which you should see it, and the reason why is because of Halle Bailey. She is Ariel. I know that was one of the biggest pieces of controversy when this decision came out for whatever reason, and it's not even a reason because they're mermaids, but you cannot deny her the title of Ariel with how she came with her class, her voice, and her entire innocence of being this mermaid on land.
Her entire being is right. She was that character. She brought such a reality to this world, this life, her situation, her desires. And what I loved in particular was how far away, and they even mentioned that, like she has far away eyes.
Yeah, her eyes are not, didn't say glassed over, but they kind of far off look.
Yeah, which is amazing because, you know, it's not just she's another person up on land. She is completely from a different existence.
Yeah.
And although, and they make the point, you know, that although she has desired this all her life, when she gets there, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, which is and that's why the story here, I think, really elevates the source material. Halle's performance is beyond perfect.
What a great actress.
And every moment, acting, singing, there was a bit of like some charming dance moves. She just was electrifyingly jumping off screen and you wanted her to succeed at every moment. Yeah, however, she was still learning. It had a similar, I mean, it was interesting. Little Mermaid came first and then Wonder Woman took some elements from it. And then this reminded me of Wonder Woman, kind of like Wonder Woman figuring the world out and touching everything and getting lost and everyone needing to like guide her. But it gives her such a charming element. However, one amazing thing that they did to elevate Ariel being on land in that moment is we got a song from her. We're just jumping all over it today, but we got a song from her on land that starts singing and I'm like, why is her mouth not moving? And then it hit me that she doesn't have a voice.
Yeah.
And so she had a song about not having
in her mind.
Oh, beautiful. And then they did the same Disney thing that they do in all of these, the new Disney princess trope. I talked to you about it when we left, is Into the Unknown was Elsa going into a black room and then just acting. Encanto had Mirabel in a black room and then fireworks. This one had Halle Bailey in a room, but in the same cinematic 3D shot as the camera pan around her in a one take, the lights shut off and it was just her silhouetted, or not silhouetted, under spotlight by herself. And I thought, you know what? It's the third time, but I like it. There were, of course, it's not a perfect movie, but neither was The Little Mermaid. We just reviewed it, the original, the animated, and it had some issues. And this one has some issues, but you know what I will say? It fixes the classic Disney live action issues, which is such an amazing thing to say. Disney live action is dark, bad CGI, bad singing. And this had perfect singing from Halle, we'll talk, and it had light. The CGI for Under the Sea, you're like, you're letting me see the CGI? You're fully animating these sea creatures? Are you kidding right now? This is beautiful. But let's talk about the other characters really quickly. Well, what are your thoughts about Prince Eric?
My thoughts about him, I enjoyed his acting. I thought he really created a very sympathetic character. You did care about his situation and his story, his backstory, his dilemma in the moment. He was very good at that sort of introspection. You could see how much he was taking in. I really enjoyed that so much. The only moment that I thought they could have worked with him better was when he was singing. Not that he didn't have a voice, he does, and actually he could pull off the song very well. I didn't understand a word he said. His diction was...
Yeah.
The French word comes to me, exécrable.
Exécrable.
Awful. His interacting with his mother.
Oh,
with
yes.
Ariel. Yeah.
I meant in the music video. So it kind of, when you look at part of your world and you look at Poor Unfortunate Souls and then you see his, you're like, oh, he gets a song. And you're like, was that a song? Or was that kind of like...
It was a forgettable song.
Kind of just like thrown in, because they could have done something really wonderful, like him captaining the sea and, you know, other people with him or him walking in his own palace. It was just at the shore. And you're like, these are the same rocks. But it didn't really serve him the way they choreographed it with the way they wrote the song. And also it didn't have a hook. I think that's...
I'm not sure what the point of the song was.
Yeah, it's called Uncharted Waters, which when you hear it, you're like, perfect. Little Mermaid references and water and him being a captain. It doesn't really pan out because you don't have that hook. It doesn't have that classic Disney Renaissance.
He's a captain without a hook.
That's hilarious. Peter Pan is on the channel too. Poor Unfortunate Souls with Melissa McCarthy.
We've been holding off talking about this.
Yes, Poor Unfortunate Souls.
I did not understand the casting of Melissa McCarthy as they announced it and everything. I thought she's kind of Iowa, Middle America, every woman, really touches your heart kind of person. And Ursula, I mean, one of the most evil villains that Disney's ever created. Probably number 2 to Maleficent in my mind.
I think you liked Lady Tremaine the most.
Well, I do, but in this kind of magical way.
That they created a character.
Lady Tremaine to me is the most evil because she is human and what she does is sinister. Yes. I wasn't sure she'd be able to pull it off. And whenever she would, because it had to be really dark. Yeah. And Melissa McCarthy's not dark in what she does generally.
Is there a but? Is there a however coming?
There is.
Oh, okay. I'm like, you're really laying into this.
No, this is all my impressions beforehand. And
preconceived notions,
right? And I'm just like, you have to withhold judgment. We'll have to see. Just wait and see. And we did. I loved her performance.
Yes.
I thought she was
nuanced.
She was nuanced. She was exactly what you expect. She didn't make it into, she made it her own, but she didn't make it into something else or she didn't fall short of the mark. She hit that mark hard. Yeah. And then I love the moments where it was Melissa McCarthy, just one or two little
comedic moments. And you're like, oh, you are funny.
You are funny.
Ursula's funny. These are gonna be GIFs.
Exactly.
Oh, every moment I'm like, oh, when she had her tentacles come in as a heart, I was like, Disney knows their GIFs. Yeah. We're gonna get GIFs galore. I got gadgets and GIFs galore. Everyone kind of said that Flounder's design frightened them, as well as Skuttle's, as well as Sebastian. I'm gonna tell you, it's not that bad. I refuse to see what Flounder looked like before going in, so I don't hop on the hype train or the hate train. And I kind of he was a fish. He didn't have the same blue stripes. He wasn't yellow and charming and chubby. Right.
He could have been more
round. He was a bit flat, so you had to really look for his eyes.
Similar to Lion King, they went with realistic looks. I thought he could have been a little chubby, a little bigger.
A little bigger to just take up space, because especially the final shot, they have Sebastian, Skuttle, and then all you hear is Flounder. Ariel, we're so happy for you. I'm like, where are you? Because he has to always be in water, because
he's a fish.
He's a fish. So when they're on land, Skuttle and Sebastian, you're like, oh, they're on the rock.
And they made a point of that at one point where he was on the ship. And, and
Sebastian had to be like,
come on, you gotta get in the water.
Yeah, it was cute because it was just like Flounder doesn't understand he can't breathe on land. So he's like, so wait, Ariel, I want to spend more time with you. He's like, we gotta get you go. You gotta go.
I also wanted to highlight the fact that the actress who played Eric's mother, Noma Dumezweni. Noma Dumezweni, not an easy name to say. What an elegant woman. Just from the very moment that you saw her, she was like a queen herself. She belonged in a castle. Yeah. And she was a stern mother, a very caring mother. Not stern in a bad way, just very, she had
authority
and her own rules. Just a strong presence, and she played her part amazingly well. I would expect that this character, you're just getting a glimpse of what this character's life is 24/7, which is what an actor needs to do. Fantastic.
The animation, let's talk about Skuttle. I love Awkwafina.
Yes.
As a New Yorker, she is just so talented. Yeah. And the fact that she can retain her oneness in every role that she plays, yet still change and give the role what its service is. She was Skuttle, for sure. And just how I love that moment in Kiss the Girl when they're singing on the row and then she goes, la!
Yes. They gave her some really good moments that way. I wanted more Skuttle. I wanted more Awkwafina. I thought they didn't use her own humor that much. I thought they could have done better with that.
Well, it's because I think they had so many new characters that got screen time. And you're thinking, oh, well, and also because they fleshed out Prince Eric's role. So where do you cut from? The side characters.
Sure, but she had a lot of screen time though. I just thought there were moments that either it was the dialogue that they gave her in the moment, or it could have just they had the highlights, but I thought it just could have been amplified a little more.
I could see that.
Because Buddy Hackett playing Skuttle in the original was so funny, and he was very much Buddy Hackett.
The song, I think the Scuttlebutt song, I think people need to see how it's done in the movie before they just, this is why I think it's important when all of you were like, why didn't you listen to the whole album? It's like, well, because we have to see what they're doing on screen, because that puts it in context for us. Because if you just hear a song, you're like, why does Skuttle have a song called the Scuttlebutt? It kind of works because it's her reporting the news. It's kind of like Zazu's song, I think, from the musical, where he kind of just is doing his report. These bird characters are news reporters? Disney theory. I think the song works. However, if we want to be nitpicky, the timing, the pacing, the placement of it in the movie, I did not like. It comes after one of the most heavy moments in the movie. Why. And then you're just like, oh no. And then the second scene starts out with, dun, 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 dun. We're gonna do the Scuttlebutt song, Scuttlebutt, Scuttlebutt, but, Scuttle. And you're like, wait, something really tragic just happened? Like, read the room. Read the room, editor. We're not there yet. So the placement of it threw me off, because I was like, I'm not ready to be happy. I'm not ready to be happy. But then I guess life doesn't wait for you.
No, it doesn't
so, wait for you. What did you think of Scuttlebutt, the song, the rap?
I liked it. I liked it as a song. I thought it was a little scattered at moments, so it was hard to catch exactly what was being said. It did not stand out as something like, oh, why did they put this in? You know, it was certainly part of the whole story. Yeah. Maybe the placement, although that's what I'm saying, it was such a dark story, the placement helped bring, especially because there are a lot of young people going to see this, maybe it just helps relieve some of that darkness. The light in the movie was very murky. Yeah, at some points, but the lighting in Under the Sea was really nice. In Part of Your World, it was kind of vignetted, that classic Disney vignette of, we're not animating the whole scene. When Prince Eric was on land at night, it was very poorly lit, and you're like, is this a choice? Or, you know, the same moment, this is what I wanted to talk about. When that moment happened, it's the moment where Ursula comes out of the water and enchants Eric. Eric's supposed to have like a ring of like enchantment, so it's very obvious that he is under a spell. And then you see a twinkle in his eye, but then you're like, is that just the moon? Because it was there before she showed up. So they could have been more obvious with these moments, kind of like Giselle's eyes in Disenchanted. You're like, oh, that's a cool effect. But they didn't have anything like that. So when he starts behaving differently, you're like, is it him? Ariel's CGI here was immaculate. Every single time you see her underwater, you're fully believable. You're like, I don't know when it's CGI and I don't know when it's her on a rig. It just goes in between the two and you're just like breathtaking. With Melissa McCarthy, you could tell she was sitting and you could tell that the tentacles were kind of animated on their own, because she doesn't really do as many flips and twirls, which is okay. It's just something that you notice when you see the two of them in the same room. She did have some moments like when they had the same twirl element and her tentacles being luminescent. Kind of like that bioalgae thing that glows in the dark. Fascinating. And they did have a lot of sea creatures. I was particularly fascinated by the bio ecosystem that they had underwater. And I thought, are these real? Are these water slugs? I know. That's so cool. Oh, the creativity. Again, this is what we want from Disney live action, to take the source material and to elevate it. Yeah. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to do the whole movie shot for shot. I know someone said the Lion King remake was a shot for shot. I said, I wish it were a shot for shot. Right. That would have been at least serviceable. You should watch his review about Lion King live action. I think it's one of his best videos. Thank you. The song that really made me nervous walking into this was Kiss the Girl. And I am overjoyed to report that is my second favorite music video of this whole whole movie. It's Part of Your World and then Kiss the Girl. Because the way that they made this work, incredible. We're not gonna spoil it for you, but you know what? We'll spoil it for people who want to hear it. So we'll just mention it right now really quickly. If you don't want to hear it, skip 10 seconds. They made Ariel, part of the spell, she couldn't remember that she needed the kiss. So it was important for Sebastian to kind of inform and sway Eric to kiss her. That's why it's so important, because she's not going to initiate. Then she could remain human and not be one of Ursula's Garden of Souls. Yeah, so it was important in that way, which I thought, oh, when I first heard that line, I was like, perfect. The song can work and it gives it a sense of agency in the story. It's not just, oh, kiss the girl. It's like, kiss the girl now. Oh my goodness. It became a more triumphant kind of they song. Changed the lyric a little bit that it was appropriate. Yeah, when you kiss the girl. Yeah. The Under the Sea song, visuals, perfect. You know what? You know what someone needs to do? Maybe me, maybe you, maybe you. Take the Under the Sea music video when it comes out and
really do what the original did, which they did do, but they fragmented it. They had Under the Sea, the song, and this is the original. They had Under the Sea, the song, and they had multiple sea creatures singing at the same time. I don't know why they didn't invest in a chorus. It's just Daveed Diggs with a surprise from Ariel singing a duet with him at some point. Cute, but you don't get that heightened chorus, all overjoyed, all singing, all loud, and it just is him kind of prancing through the song, and you think, when are we gonna get the nice musical number?
No.
Which does come with all the sea creatures after, but it's in an instrumental break, and I thought, you could take these visuals of all these fish dancing, put it over Sebastian singing, add a chorus, and you got some $1 million music video.
Yeah.
I thought a missed opportunity to have other voices, to really heighten this song, and to use the CGI that they spent some time animating, which is the first time. Speaking of the first time, what are your thoughts on that song?
They added a song for Ariel on land for the first time that she's experiencing this and that and that. The title's been used before, we think, maybe in a very different
time
context.
in forever. For the first time, I'm getting burned. That's what she said.
Yes. No.
Halle? Yes.
Yes. She pulled everything off.
The song?
The song itself was okay, but why make that the hook?
And last but not least, I really think we should talk about the representation. I thought it was wonderful to kind of have, and we talked about this again with the movie group at the end, the diversity on screen and just people not question it. You know, Eric was a 21-year-old who kind of washed ashore, so his story is a little bit different. And
a white man with a British accent.
White man with a British accent, which also I'm not opposed to. I just think we should also pay attention to the next Disney prince who comes, because I'm pretty sure so far, aside from Shang, who's not a prince in Mulan, they've been they've been British. They've been British men who are the Disney. It's like we get an American woman as the lead, and then we get a British man as the lead. And I'm like, can we not just, like, Spider-Man's British?
They did set it in the Caribbean in the
so it did work stylistically
in the 19th century.
Yeah,
so.
I just think that who's the next one who's coming? You know, all the British boys start getting ready to be a prince.
However, he was brought into a family. His mother is black, and during colonial Caribbean islands and during colonial times. Yes, well, he would have been British or French or Dutch or however, he brought into with a black mother, and that explains that relationship. But I thought that was a beautiful representation that not every family looks exactly the same. And then at the very end, you wanted to say, they brought diversity to the front of the screen.
Oh yeah, they did. And just like a shot.
A shot of all the mer people coming to support Ariel in her decision to leave and follow her heart.
The ending didn't work for me because I still think they could have done something more, because they leave you hanging a little bit. They leave you hanging a little bit, and they make you think, are they changing the story? That's pretty powerful, but they don't. It kind of ends in the same way. But I'm not going to say exactly how it ends, but
my whole opinion as an overall comment about the ending is that they spent so much time on the iconic moments, and they did not make anything more of the original here. They should have, and there were a lot of missed moments, even just visually. I mean, just the way they shot some of the scenes. Yeah, didn't work.
Fumbled a little bit at the end, but then you have all these moments that were really beautiful.
The movie's completely memorable.
Yeah, in its own way, which is what we want. But Jodie Benson does have a cameo in a very charming way, and it is just amazing. There was a lot of clapping in our theater too. People, I think, are really coming out to see this movie. Okay, we're gonna share our rating right now. Please share yours down below in the comments. We love to compare. We're gonna be rating on a scale of 1 through 10.
And decimals are encouraged.
Okay, are you ready?
8.4.
Oh, would you say 9.5?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you really liked it. That's amazing. I really liked it too.
And I'm giving it points for an amazing cast. I'm giving it points for being a live action that actually works. I didn't want to go much. I could have gone a little bit below 9.5, but I figured a movie like this that is so iconic of a story and and so important to the Disney canon that I thought keeping it pretty even would be a good idea. And I also I liked more than the effort. I liked the product. And I could take more points off for some of the things that I don't really like. However, it's A for effort. So
A for effort. Yeah.
So that's why I gave it a little bit higher than that. You gave it an 8.4?
8.4, yeah. I gave it higher than the Little Mermaid animated because I think it does heighten the story, which I appreciate. There are a lot of things, not a lot, I shouldn't say that. There are a lot of things that worked. And I think the main thing that did work, that kept it high for me as a score, was Halle Bailey and the way that she's just absolutely perfect. So that kept it above an 8 for me. And I was going to go 8.5, a little bit higher. And I thought there's just too many missteps with the music, which is supposed to be, the thing that seals this, that's a movie musical. And then some of the directions with how things were cut together and edited. And I didn't think that, especially the way the movie ended with her transformation from King Triton's blessing, was done as a cut.
And that's where that's where I take most of my points off. Yeah.
Yeah, I just took a lot more points off because I thought that was a bit egregious. It's a bit apparent where they saved money. And it's also apparent where they spent money, which is on Ariel, her CGI, and that was just breathtaking.
You can have your own feedback. We'd love to hear your comments down below, and please let us know what you thought really worked, what you would have changed in the movie, because that's how movies get better. Nothing's perfect. So we're excited to see what you think, and please go support this movie and check out all the rest that we have here on the channel. And as always, be safe, be strong, be swagged under the sea. God bless you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Good health to you and yours, and keep the arts, keep music in your hearts. This is a musical.
Yes.
Keep music in your heart.
Ciao, bye.